NYIT is a community service of the New York Institute of Technology.
Covering the news of Nassau and Suffolk Counties, Long Island News Tonight with Ken Eckhart, Carol Peck, and the award-winning LI News team.
Good evening. I'm Ken Eckhart, and here's what's happening. Police say it appears bones found last night on Long Island's South Shore near Oak Beach are human remains. They were found about a mile away from where remains of 4 missing women were discovered back in December. The medical examiner is investigating. Officers were initially searching for a missing New Jersey woman in December when they happened upon the bodies of the 4 other women. Police theorize a serial killer may have been responsible for the deaths. No suspects have been identified in the deaths of the women. Nassau County Executive Edward Mangano has been subpoenaed in connection with a probe into errors at the County Police Crime Lab. The crime lab closed earlier this year after revelations that it was generating inaccurate measurements in drug cases and mismatched reports on blood alcohol tests in drunken driving cases. Governor Andrew Cuomo has appointed the state inspector general to review testing procedures and protocols at the lab. In addition to Mangano, his predecessor for former county executive Thomas Suozzi has also reportedly been subpoenaed for questioning. It's reported more than 100 subpoenas have been issued in connection with the ongoing Inspector General investigation. Nassau County says it won't pursue its lawsuit against the Nassau Interim Finance Authority. It's reported the county says it hopes to work with NYIT to correct the errors of the past and to meet the challenges ahead. The state fiscal watchdog, NYIT, announced its takeover of Nassau County's finances back in January, arguing that the county's budget was out of balance by more than allowed by the state. But the county said the budget was balanced and challenged NYIT's decision in court. A judge earlier this month dismissed the county's claims that the takeover was unconstitutional and that NYIT's authority to impose financial controls had expired. To reduce our dependence on fossil fuel, one Long Island town opened what it says is the island's first hydrogen fueling station this week and showed off 3 new hydrogen vehicles it's added to its fleet. Jody Goldberg has the story.
This is a sound of a cleaner environment. Here at the town of Hempstead's Energy Park in Point Lookout, Long Island's first hydrogen filling station will be fueling Toyota's zero-emission fuel cell hybrid vehicles.
By using hydrogen fuel, by using compressed natural gas, by using electric motor cars, all of those things are reducing our carbon footprint, helping our environment, and we want to be good stewards of the earth.
Murray says this is another way the town can become greener and adds it will be a step towards making the planet healthier. And John Love of the New York State Energy Research Development Authority says fueling stations like this one serve several purposes.
We're really concerned with what we like to call the 4 E's, which is energy, economic development, the environment, and education.
Officials say the price tag for this Highlander is $100,000. And Love says hydrogen gas will one day be another option at your neighborhood gas station.
We have to reduce our dependence on foreign oil, and these are the technologies that are going to help us to do that.
And Murray says hopefully by 2015 these vehicles will be made available to the average consumer. In Point Lookout, Jody Goldberg, LI News Tonight.
A Long Island woman who admitted abusing her children and dozens of family pets has been sentenced to a maximum 2-year prison term. Sharon McDonough pleaded guilty to animal abuse and child endangerment charges stemming from her arrest in 2009. She was sentenced today in Suffolk County Court in Riverhead. McDonough admitted killing numerous kittens and dogs, stashing the dead cats in the trash, and burying 42 dead dogs in the backyard of her home in Selden. She also allowed her 6 daughters to live in squalor. An older son turned her in. Because she had already been in jail, McDonough will likely be released on good behavior by the middle of next month. A Long Island man got to enjoy his new 2010 Porsche for about 24 hours before it was confiscated and he was arrested. Nassau County Police say 30-year-old William Muir of Hicksville used fraudulent W-2 forms to obtain a loan for $100,000 at a Jericho bank last Friday. He then picked up the new Porsche GT3, similar to this one, on Monday and drove off in it just before the dealership received a stop payment notice on the check. Muir reportedly went back to the dealership yesterday to pick up the paperwork, and that's when he was arrested and the car recovered and returned to the dealership. What was an up day on Wall Street today? The Dow finished the day up 71 2/3 points. NASDAQ was up almost 20 points, and the S&P was up over 8 3/4 points. NYIT's LI News Tonight continues after this.
See a screening of the film Rebel Without a Cause at New York Institute of Technology's D. Seversky Center in Old Westbury on Wednesday, April 6th at 5:30 p.m. For more information, call 516-686-7567. Looking for a place to live? The Long Island Housing and Rental Expo will be held at the Islandia Marriott on Saturday, April 9th from 10 a.m. till 3 p.m. For more information, call Action Long Island at 631-425-2700. The Gilbert and Sullivan Light Opera Company of Long Island and South Shore Syncopators celebrate the music of the 20s and 30s at the Ethical Humanist Society in Garden City on Saturday, April 9th at 8 p.m. For tickets, call 516-795-7745 or cast a line at the Spring Family Fishing Festival at Belmont Lake State Park in North Babylon on Saturday, April 9th from 10 a.m. till 4 p.m. For more information, call 631-444-0283. If you have an event you'd like included on the LI News Tonight community calendar, send it to linewstonight@nyit.edu.
Press play to start your future. Learn the industry. Use the technology. Become an expert in television reporting, journalism, radio, digital film, public relations and advertising, television production, digital graphics, a beautiful state-of-the-art campus, a road to the job you've always wanted, in the media capital of the world. Communication Arts at NYIT. When can you start?
In world headlines today, opposition fighters are reportedly retreating from the Libyan oil port of Ras Lanuf after coming under heavy shelling from ground forces loyal to leader Muammar Gaddafi. NATO has intervened with near-daily airstrikes to weaken the regime's superior military power compared to the poorly trained and equipped rebel army. Meanwhile, Uganda says Muammar Gaddafi is welcome to live there, adding Uganda's policy is to accept asylum seekers. And British Prime Minister David Cameron says his government doesn't rule out arming Libya's embattled rebels, saying he thinks the UN resolution authorizing military action could also be read to allow arming the opposition if it helps save civilian lives. Radiation detected in seawater near the crippled Japanese nuclear power plant is at its highest radiation level yet, more than 3,000 times normal. Nuclear safety officials say it's a sign that more contaminated water is making its way into the ocean. Seawater outside the plant was found to contain 3,300 times the usual amount of radioactive iodine. But officials say it does not pose an immediate threat to human health, but is a concern. Meanwhile, efforts continue to stabilize the dangerously overheated plant and to contain the radiation seeping from the complex and into the sea and soil nearby. State media say 19 workers have been rescued after being buried in a tunnel that collapsed in southwestern China. The official Xinhua news agency says the workers from a road construction crew were buried when unstable geological conditions caused the tunnel that they were digging to collapse yesterday. Rescue workers managed to pull them to safety today after digging a 65-foot-long emergency evacuation passage. Xinhua says rescue teams send in water, oxygen, and electricity supplies to the trapped men while working to free them. Well, most Barbie princess dolls have long flowing hair, but the Mattel toy company recently created a custom-made doll for a 4-year-old cancer patient that, like the youngster, has no hair. Stephanie Belizaire has the story.
This little cancer patient has a Barbie doll that's just like her. It has no hair. The doll was specifically made for a 4-year-old Genesis Reyes, who is undergoing chemotherapy for the second time at Winthrop Pediatric Associates in Mineola.
Today we are giving one of our little patients here, Genesis Reyes, a Mattel Barbie doll that they specifically made for her. It's a bald Barbie.
When she first lost her hair, workers at Winthrop Pediatric Associates called Genesis a princess. But the little girl said she didn't believe them.
She told Mom that even though we tried to tell her she was, that princesses have hair.
When Krupa heard Genesis was undergoing treatment again, she says they found a Barbie doll and cut off its hair. But it didn't look right because it had holes in its head. However, the mother of another patient got involved and contacted the wife of the head of Mattel, and the toy company created a Princess Genesis doll, complete with a tiara. This is the custom-made Mattel doll that was presented to 4-year-old cancer patient Genesis Reyes. When the doll was presented to her, she began to acknowledge the fact that the doll had no hair like her. In Mineola, Stephanie Belizaire, LI News Tonight.
A motorcyclist was killed in Hicksville after police say he crashed into the side of a car making a turn. It happened yesterday afternoon along Duffy Avenue. Police say 59-year-old Robert D. Pasquale of Farmingdale was riding a 2010 Harley-Davidson when he struck the other car at the corner of West Nikolai Street. D. Pasquale was pronounced dead at a nearby hospital. The 74-year-old driver of the other car was reportedly not injured. A 4-year-old Brentwood girl at the center of an immigration dispute has returned to the United States. Emily Ruiz had been in Guatemala for months when her grandfather tried to bring her back to New York. He was detained by immigration officials and eventually was sent back to Guatemala. Well, immigration officials claim they told Emily's parents they could pick her up, but the parents claim they were never given that option. Although Emily is a U.S. citizen, her parents admit that they are in the country illegally. The family's lawyer went to Guatemala this week and retrieved the girl and says he brought her back to New York earlier this week. Officials say traces of radioactive iodine, likely from the damaged nuclear power plant in Japan, have been found in monitoring stations in New York State. The state health department describes the levels as minute and says they don't pose a threat to the public's safety. The department says the traces found in air and rainwater are consistent with findings in other states. Federal officials say 7 states previously recorded slightly elevated levels of radiation believed to be from the crippled Japanese nuclear plant, which was damaged during that March 11th earthquake and tsunami. We had a mix of sun and clouds today. The high temperature was up into the low 50s. Tonight, showers moving in late with a low in the upper 30s. Tomorrow, rain expected with a high in the mid 40s. Friday, a mix of rain and snow with a high around 40 degrees. Saturday, partly cloudy with a high up near 50. And the outlook for Sunday, a sunny day with a high in the low 50s. That's it for NYIT's LI News Tonight. I'm Ken Eckhart. Thank you for watching. We'll see you again tomorrow. Have a good night.